I'm committed to gender equity and inclusion because it really fosters a positive work environment where everyone can feel like they belong. And I'd like to tell you a little bit about what we do at Boulder County in the hopes that other organizations might be able to pattern their practices after what we do. So I would say that we've been doing this for a number of years and perhaps weren't doing it very well from the start. We had some parental leave, we followed lactation policies according to the law, but we really weren't making it a part of our culture. And that's when things changed, when we decided to make it a part of Boulder County culture. So a few years ago, we started looking at our lactation rooms as a beginning. And we realized that we had a few spaces that were available on an as-needed basis, but we really worked hard to assign some spaces that were specifically for lactation and that were throughout all of our campuses. And I'd like to say that that was a result of my pioneering actions, but really it was a result of an employee telling us that we weren't doing it very well. And so we had an employee who had a baby, came back to work, and was having difficulty finding a lactation space. And so she shared her concerns and what didn't go very well for her. And so we immediately sprang into action, and we decided to create spaces throughout the county and make those spaces ones that were comfortable for our nursing mothers. And one of the things that we had to do was really had to get buy-in from our leadership. And that took a little bit of work because, again, there's a difference between just following the letter of the law and really making a part of your values and culture. And so once we were able to make that shift and help everyone understand how those spaces were important for all of us, because having those mothers feel supported at work was really critical to their engagement in the workplace, and thus that helped out their coworkers. And so we've moved to a point now where we have 39 lactation spaces throughout the county, and we actually have some dedicated spaces also, so we have 8 dedicated spaces. So we also make sure that we have the breastfeeding-friendly national symbol in all of our spaces so that members of the public also know that we're a breastfeeding-friendly workplace, and that's really critical, again, to our culture and lets our employees and our public know that they're supported. We also then decided to move a little bit more into the family-friendly workplace practice, and this was through some partnership with public health. And so I started talking with some of those employees from public health who were really looking at the issue of health equity and how we could make a difference. And so we started talking about what else could we do. And the first thing that we were able to get accomplished about 18 months ago was to expand our paid parental leave. And so we went from 1 week of paid leave to 1 month of paid leave. And that made a huge difference for our employees. And we actually had 50 births in 2016, and that was the first year that we had the parental leave. And I actually had done the numbers and presented a case to my commissioners, and that was based on 41 births, so we had an increase in 2016. I'd like to think that that may have been because the Broncos won the Super Bowl, but at any rate, we had lots of new parents. And so we decided, okay, we are supporting those parents while they're away from the workplace. What can we do then when they come back to the workplace? And we don't want to lose employees, and we want them to feel like we really do value work-life balance here. So we were actually able to create an Infants at Work program, and that went into place in September of 2016. And new parents, both mothers and fathers, are able to bring their infants back into the workplace, and they're able to have the infant in the workplace until the baby is mobile or at 12 months, whichever comes first. So when the baby begins to crawl, then they need to find alternative arrangements. And the program works really well. There are 2 coworkers that the employee needs to enlist to be alternative care providers, and those employees would care for the infant if the employee had an obligation that didn't really include the baby very well. And so that has been an amazing success. There was lots of skepticism when it started, but again, we had a culture that felt supportive of that. And so the skepticism has largely gone away. We had 21 infants at one time in our workplace throughout our campuses, and now we've had a few babies graduate from the program. I'm hoping they're going to come back and become employees in another 18, 19 years or so. But it's available for any position. Obviously, there are some positions that it doesn't work quite as well for, but in those situations, we might try to look for a temporary assignment for an employee so that they might also be able to enlist in the program. So those are a few things that we're doing right now. We also are offering paid public service leave, and so all of our employees can have 8 hours of paid leave during the calendar year to go out and volunteer in the community. And we think this also helps with employee engagement and well-being, because we find that there are a lot of factors to an employee well-being, and community engagement is one of those things. And what we hope to do in the future also is to expand our paid parental leave even more, and to actually have that include care for other family members, such as elderly parents. So again, with a family-friendly policy, we want to make sure that it isn't just targeting some of our employees, but that all employees benefit. Certainly all employees benefit from our Infants at Work program by way of having engaged coworkers who come back into the workplace and feel supported, and that they're also able to pay attention to their family and have those needs met. But if employees are able to also know that they can go away from the workplace for a while and care for an elderly parent and get paid for that, then we also think that we will have those loyal, engaged employees into the future. We're also hoping to perhaps try to figure out how we can do on-site child care, and that again would be something that would be a comfort to parents who are working and are able to have their children nearby. So we're all about trying to find ways that we're making sure that our employees feel like the county cares about them, that we care about their personal life, that we try to offer them flexibility and opportunities. And speaking of flexibility, another thing that I'm a strong proponent of that is a no-cost option is flexible scheduling and telecommuting. And so we offer a lot of that at the county, and that's an opportunity for an employee to be sustainable and perhaps work in the home. I think that's good for the environment, which is another Boulder County value. And they're also able to maximize their workday that way. And then also, if employees have some flexible scheduling and perhaps are able to have a 3-day weekend, again, they're able to balance their work and life situation just a little bit better. One of the important aspects to our Infants at Work program that I think sets it apart is offering that additional support for parents who are in the workplace with their babies. And so we offer things that help them get to work without lugging all of the things that come with baby back and forth. So for instance, we offer boppy pillows, and we offer pack and plays, and we offer some bouncy chairs. And so we've done that across the organization with those parents who can come in and they can borrow those items for the duration that their infant is in the workplace. And again, that helps them so they're not spending a half hour lugging things to and from the office. We also have set up different workspaces for them. So if the parent might need a more private space, we've had supervisors even switch their spots with those employees. So that works out really nicely. We also have a parents resource group, and that's a voluntary group for parents who do have infants in the workplace. And they're able to go have lunch, they're able to commiserate if they wish, they're able to talk about what works for them and what doesn't. And so that's been a really nice bonding experience for those parents. And then we've also been able to partner with public health to offer hospital-grade breast pumps, and we actually have 12 of those breast pumps in the workplace now. So that's another opportunity for parents to be able to come in and not have to lug their own equipment to and from the workplace. We have a number of mini refrigerators also for that use, and so we're trying to make it as convenient as possible for those moms to come in and be able to express milk and then also have their infants in the workplace. And dads are a part of that too, so we've actually had 3 different fathers participate in the Infants at Work program, and I think that also is a nice nod to gender equity, that we let both parents know that they have that opportunity and it's not only for one. So we're really proud of the fact that we're inclusive in that initiative here at the county as well.